Oh, I saw this video from Joel Haver about SNL stealing his sketch. Dude, Joel, I'm going to be honest, gives probably the most diplomatic, kind response to having his shit stolen I've ever seen. I thought I was pretty light on it, basically saying like, listen, it could have been lateral thinking. It happens. But I mean, look at this. He really gives them the benefit of the doubt.
Day night, I started to get a lot of comments on one of my videos, and I got tagged in a lot of tweets about how SNL had stolen something from me. And when it comes to these stealing accusations, I always err on the side of coincidence. I think parallel thinking does happen more often than not. So I waited to see the sketch for myself, which they posted later in the night, and I saw it. And it's a Charmin Bears parody where the dad is disapproving of the son who's going to college and doesn't want to do the family business of butt wiping anymore. And he wants to dance instead. And the mom is siding with the dad. And my video was a Charmin Bears parody where the dad is disapproving of the son who's going to college. He doesn't want to be a butt wiping bear anymore and he wants to dance instead. And the mom sides with the dad. They're the same blue bears. The dad has the glasses. They're in their house. It was pretty alarming. I was like, wow, this is... usually when these things come up, I'm like able to see like, oh, it's the same concept, but they took it somewhere different. Or it's similar, but you could give them some leeway. But this one, it was a little weird. I was like, wow, that's very similar. But even then, a couple months ago, I did a video kind of playing on the trope of, hey, dude, he's right behind you, you know, because I wanted to do a video, and I was like, what's a good trope I could play on? And I thought of that one. So I built on that trope naturally. I was like, so how about the first guy's like, dude, he's right behind you. Then he starts saying like, oh, I'm sorry, dude, I shouldn't have been talking about you, I'm an idiot. And then he's right behind himself. And you know, it was a very natural play on that trope, like what's the escalation? And I made this video totally independently. And suddenly I started to get a lot of comments. They're like, Auntie Donna already did this. Auntie Donna. I don't watch Auntie Donna. I've never seen this video in my life.
By the way, if you haven't seen Auntie Donna, they're fucking incredible.
But I looked it up and I'm like, wow, they kind of already did this like 7 years ago. I've always been somebody who feels like the same joke told by two different comics is essentially a different joke. Our deliveries are very different. And, you know, at the end of the day, you can't go researching every idea you think about. The internet is huge. You can't be like, oh, I have an idea about Charmin Bears. Let's like Google.
So for the rest of this, he basically is very diplomatic, and then he does something awesome. He shouts out a bunch of smaller creators, which you should go check out. But I mean, listen, it's tough because when you're an internet creator, you feel like the little guy compared to SNL. And I don't know about Joel's feelings, but certainly my feelings are like SNL is, you know, they're kingmakers. They might not have the best content now, and obviously they haven't had the kind of like creative pipeline that they used to. SNL seems like a really important launch pad for a lot of comedic talent. And so you never want to like go at them, at least in my experience with them. And you want to be diplomatic. But I mean, in that case, SNL should really say something, because this is different than a lateral thinking like trope. You know what I mean? This isn't like, oh, he's right behind you. This is the Charmin Bears kid wants to be a dancer and doesn't want to wipe his butt professionally. I mean, like, it's such a specific concept, and the execution is almost identical, to the point where the only difference is really that one is a cartoon and one is a live action. SNL should really offer a apology, or at least say something to the effect of like, hey, what an unbelievable coincidence. We're so sorry. Definitely go check out Joel. His sketch is amazing. Like, you know what I mean? They should say something on their social media to the effect of, we fucked up.
SNL should suck my
because
money.
I've seen them commit theft before. Obviously, there are rumors of them taking stuff. And obviously, I had my own personal experience, which, you know, it could be lateral thinking. I've always left that door open. You know, the sketches were similar. They weren't identical. But I think this is the first instance of like, Joel won't say it, but that was fucking stolen. 100%. And if it wasn't stolen, it's probably one of the most insane coincidences in history. It just sucks, man. It sucks to see big guy SNL just pilfer from internet creators. Well, I will say this, it is validating that I'm not the only creator that got something taken from them. You know what I mean? It does make me feel like, okay, at least I wasn't targeted. At least this is just something that they've decided to do in their writer's room, I guess. You know, they're under the pressure of having a week deadline. It seems like their technique is go watch a bunch of internet comedy videos and just steal some of the ones that they think are, you know. Joel's video has 1.5 million views. It's not that obscure. Yeah, and mine had, I think, 500,000. What can you do? Listen, it's obscure in the sense that we're not making SNL money. We're not on cable. I'm going to be real. The SNL audience is mostly boomers now. And the truth of the matter is the majority of their audience wouldn't have watched a Will Neff or Joel Haber YouTube video. That's the truth. But it's always interesting that I had kind of the same experience that Joel had, where like people in my community made me hip to it. Right? Like I got like 4 or 5 text messages of people being like, oh, dude, your sketch. And then you're like, oh my God. Again, mine was not as concrete as Joel's. Joel's is so on the nose a rip. It's like, it's tough. Does SNL really have the ability to recognize this coincidence or plagiarism and also the PR to make a statement? Bro, what? Huh? Dude, we're not talking about like a sketch group in Idaho.
Yeah, wow,
we're talking about Saturday Night fucking Live.
Well,
they
sick as hell last week.
They perform out of 30 Rock studios. This is one of NBC, the national broadcasting company's keystone properties. They have all the resources that NBC has. They have A-list celebrities on their show every single night that they perform. If they don't have the ability to do positive PR or recognize that there is an internet shitstorm right now of the number 8 trending video on YouTube, basically boldface accusing them of theft, then they need to be put down like a dog that can't stand up to piss anymore. Like, of course, look, dude, I just Googled SNL. Look, Entertainment Weekly, the New York Times. Entertainment Weekly is writing about this, dude. It's a huge story. Anyway, maybe I was a little too harsh. I'm a boomer. I know the prestige that SNL has, but like, yes, they should absolutely respond to this. Do you think SNL days are numbered? No, I don't. I think that SNL it's like The Simpsons at this point. I'll be honest, I was one of the biggest Simpsons fans in the world. I could not wait for The Simpsons. The Simpsons were, when I was like 7 years old, The Simpsons were incredible. There are like 10 seasons of The Simpsons that are some of the funniest seasons of television ever. And since then, you have what a lot of people refer to as zombie Simpsons. If you don't know what the zombie Simpsons are basically after you have people like Conan O'Brien and Phil Hartman and like kind of the lifeblood of the Simpsons writing and performing room leave the show just kept going. And it's like kind of on autopilot. And I think that when a show has been around for so long and still makes so much money just in like licensing and toys and t-shirts and it's just carried by momentum. I thought that The Simpsons would end when I was in high school, and they're still going. And there's still an enormously prestigious place for writers from the Harvard Lampoon to end up. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but the majority of the writers that you will see in the Simpsons writing room are considered like comedy elite. They're all like Ivy Leaguers who are part of like the Harvard Lampoon. If you don't know what the Harvard Lampoon is, look it up. But they're considered like the greatest minds in comedy, right? If there can be a prestige in comedy, you go to like SNL or you go to Simpsons, or someplace like that. And I think Simpson or SNL is kind of the same way, where I don't think SNL will die because it's still such a fucking insane landing spot for talent, right? Like my manager basically asked me this year, he's like, do you want to submit for SNL? And what surprised me is I didn't immediately say no. I still was like, no. But, you know, you do that because there is such a prestige around those places. It's such an institution. They do recruit such insane talent. A lot of their cast go on to have amazing careers. So, I mean, unless there is some insane, salacious scandal around SNL, and I think it would have to be more than stealing a sketch, I think SNL will go on for at least a few more years.